Therapy was this game invented by this Canadian entrepreneur. For 30 days, you go out and look for rejection. And every day get rejected at something, and by the end, you desensitize yourself from the pain. I'm gonna do this, and I'll film myself getting rejected 100 days. And I'll came up with my own rejection ideas, and I'll make a video blog out of it. Day 2, request a burger refill. This is where I finished, went to a burger joint, I finished lunch, and I went to the cashier and said, "Hey, can I get a burger refill?" And he was all confused. I was like, "What's a burger refill?" I said, "Well, just like a drink refill, but what's a burger?" And he said, "Sorry, we don't do burger refill, man." If I just don't run, if I got rejected, I could actually turn a no into a yes. And the magic word is why. So one day, I went to a stranger's house, I had this flower in my hand, and I said, knocked on the door, I said, "Hey, can I plant this flower in your backyard?" And he said, "No." I said, "Hey, can I know why?" And he said, "Well, I have this dog that would dig up anything I put in the backyard. I don't want to waste your flower. If you don't do this, go across the street and talk to Connie. She loves flowers." I went across and knocked on Connie's door. She was so happy to see me. And then half an hour later, there's this flower in Connie's backyard. People like Martin Luther King Jr., like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, or even Jesus Christ, these people did not let rejection define them. They let their own reaction after rejection define themselves. And they embraced rejection. Rejection was my curse, was my boogeyman. It has bothered me my whole life because I was running away from it. Then I started embracing it. I turned that into the biggest gift in my life.
Together, no one suffers alone.
Together, no one suffers alone.
We can show people it's really not just one of us. We are all got to come together in this. Together, nobody suffers alone.
Hi everyone, this is Sparkles. Our Voice Matters, exposing the secrets. First, we always like to start by thanking Mine and Storm for allowing us to utilize his platform and to help us grow in the community of domestic violence specifically. However, we do support all survivors. Tonight's topic is rebuilding our lives out of and from paralyzing fear. So it's been very... before we get started, that's the topic. This is edition 10, believe it or not. And we're really excited to be here and to continue to build the group of people and our followers. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has shared and, become part of and started becoming interactive. We need you to be interactive. We want to hear from you. We want you to share your experiences, and you can always reach out to us on our voicemail at ovmatters1@gmail.com. So yes, please, this is an interactive podcast. As you can see, my environment has changed quite a bit behind me. We'll get into that in a minute. A couple ground rules. First and foremost, if you put anything that is considered at all out of line, we don't ask questions. You are immediately removed from podcast, never to be allowed in again. And also, if you are a survivor, if you are a family member who is left behind, if you're a family member that is actively watching a child or a sister or a brother or a son or anybody going through domestic violence, we're all here in this together, okay? And we can get through this. So if you are triggered, because that's very possible, I please ask that you kindly just disconnect immediately and go immediately do something self-care, whether if it's just sitting in a quiet space, putting a special smell, whatever it takes to get back to you. You can always come back and watch the episode. We're always going to be here. We're not going anywhere. So take care of yourself. Okay, so I'm a little excited about tonight's episode, actually. Everybody knows that I have been fighting very, very, very hard for my case. a long time now. And things are starting, some things have happened in my life that, you know, you get to a point where I had to make a decision. I can live in real, constant, ongoing fear because at this point, I am not even able to get medical care in the entire state. It's not, I have to go. There are some other factors, such as my ex is starting to come out of the woodwork, which I expected. Um, there's, there's many other factors. I have been fighting to find out I have all these medical conditions, and now finding and getting finally getting like medical documentation from some very reputable doctors that actually state domestic violence on there. And so it's exciting. I am, this is I think unless you've actually ever really lived in a situation where you have to come to some acceptances, and all I can do is share what got me to this place. And you guys have all seen it. It hasn't all been beautiful. It doesn't frequently look real great. It's not a beautiful thing. It's emotional. It is growth. If you're actually, attempting to fight, and when I say fight, I don't mean you are busting walls, packing, and putting your life on the line. Fighting when you're in a domestic violence situation has a little bit of a different meaning for those of us that have experienced it. We're all here together, and I want you guys to see this process of rebuilding my life, that things have really, I'm still dealing with a little bit of brain fog, so it's a lot better than it had been, but I will catch myself and I will try to finish where I started. And this is all part of my therapy. So I would hope that if you're on here, that you understand that there is brain trauma from my domestic violence. And yes, the accident did not help anything. But with that being said, rebuilding our lives out of and from paralyzing fear, is one of, I'm telling you, people who have not been in these situations, who have never felt so stuck and controlled, didn't know if it was okay to turn left even or flip your hair. I got the crap beat out of me because I flipped my hair like I always do. And we just so happened to be in a public setting, and I did that to flirt with somebody that I didn't even recognize. The paralyzing fear of guns being held to our heads, and we have no idea if it's going to go off, if it's loaded, if it's not loaded. And the psychological damage of that is absolutely horrible. Or, to find out that 4.5 months in, you've been doing crystal meth, just being prepped so that you can start the destructive part, the physically destructive parts. I really want to get into the paralyzing fear at the end because it can actually be used. I have so long to go, trust me. Guys, I have 45 years of ongoing, nonstop, overlapping abuse that was made to be okay. And I'm really at a point in my life for the first time. The only piece that I've been living out of packed bags, in my car, homeless, in PA, sometimes in Jersey, once in Maryland, because, well, the reasons are that I need to relocate, and I need to figure out where it is I need to be and where I feel I want to be. And in order to do so, I'd step out of my comfort zone. I have found a place, and as you can see, it's perfect for me. It's like I'm rebuilding my life, and I have a spot that I can kind of rebuild as well. I have some limitations, but not the type of limitations that I would have at most places. And I'm very, very excited about it. So that's where this topic kind of came from. Because I'm going to be quite honest with you. I have wanted this for so long. And now it's here. And I'm tickled pink right now. Like, I'm so super excited. But there's just, I don't even know where it's at. I don't know where it's coming from. It's not necessarily a feeling. I really don't even know how to describe what it is. Sorry, it's a little hot in here. I gotta put my hair up. What it is that this is called, but it's a paralyzing feeling that at times in my past has allowed me to just stay comfortable. Well, I have worked really hard, and you do have to do some of your own. If you want to get out, and if you are out and you're in need of help, and people have real, honest, real good help, be careful, because trust me, when you are a victim and you are in a vulnerable state and you are in an extremely traumatic place in your mind, people will try to take advantage of you in more ways than one. And being desperate because we maybe need no money, or we might be in pain, or don't do it. Just, you can do this. Just know, and I just, again, you have to keep good notes. Once you are away, notes and notes and notes and notes, and go back as far as you possibly can. And if you walk away and come back later, write date and what you remembered. Like, we are being looked at as drug addicts, mental health, behavioral health. We are a threat to society. We're homicidal. We're suicidal. We are, I know many have been listed as, multiple personalities. There's dissociative identity disorder, which is actually the only one that is specific to trauma. But again, it's still a diagnosis, which requires big pharma involved. I took a training recently, and in that training, it said that behavioral health is cause of trauma. I sat through and got my certification. However, I'm not saying that there's not a very small percentage that actually occurs, but for the most part, I would believe. And I'm actually researching those numbers. But anyway, the point I'm making is I have worked with clients. I have spoken with other victims, survivors, overcomers, other people who have done something much similar to myself as far as starting, a nonprofit or an organization to become part of the solution. And the problem is you have to be ready. Like, do you want safety? And if you do, then you have to be willing to, as long as what you're being offered is realistic. It's not separating you from your children. It's not where you can live here, but you're going to be responsible for everything in the house. It's not, you can live here, but you're going to fuck me, or that stuff is going to come your way. So I'm forewarning you. And be careful of, I'm just going to say this, like, my thing is, and go to places that you would normally, the level of fear that you've already lived through supersedes previous fears that you have had. So remember, when you're being offered help, if it is something that's legit, you have to be willing to be open-minded enough to say, okay, you know what? This is an opportunity. You can, in order to rebuild your life, in order for other people to help you rebuild your life, we're not real estate agents. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of things. There's not much out here at all. Trust me, I'm learning a ton on some loopholes and some different things that I will not share on this video. However, if you're in a situation and it sounds anything similar to what I've discussed, please feel free to inbox me or to email ovmatters1 gmail.com. So the thing that I come across the most is, and this is my question, are you not leaving because of the lifestyle? And if that's the case, could that lifestyle be part of the cause of the violence? Because I'm not going to sit here and say that there is real addiction involved with. Sometimes people already have addiction issues and then domestic violence occurs, and it doesn't mean that they don't deserve the same amount of respect and treatment, but that's a much smaller number than, what we're talking about. So the point I'm making is, if you really want out and you really want help, if you go someplace and you don't be a snob. That's it. Just flat out. If you want help, and there is real help, because I've done this and helped some. I've experienced this with helping other clients, and was able to locate safe places that it fit all the needs. And but it just wasn't what they wanted. Well, sometimes when we have to leave, sometimes you don't need to take all that baggage with you. I know I didn't, and it was the best thing I could have done. I don't need a bunch of material things that ultimately just hold me down emotionally, psychologically, sometimes physically. It can become crippling because I can get stuck going back in those memories and crying my eyes out, and it's just not. Look, it's all up here. Those material things, we have needs, and yeah, if you're fortunate enough to be able to take anything, a backpack, a couple things of clothes, a couple bags of clothes or something, and your needs are met and you're safe and it's an option, it's just a step. It's not permanent. Like, you have an opportunity from that point to decide where your life goes. So I'm 45 years old. I'm here to tell you, like, it's not easy. Look, you guys have seen it. It's not easy. And let me tell you, my pride has gotten in the way. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. But it's taken a little while, and I understand. I don't expect everybody to just be like, oh, she's crazy. No, I'm just here to show you that if you give yourself time and you put faith over fear and you make that next dreadful step, it's progress. Nothing is going to happen in these types of situations overnight. And we all can, I don't think anybody would debate that. But I'm happy. And not just that, I'm excited. Like, for the first time, I get to make like choices that I didn't have an opportunity to make before. I don't have anybody telling me like I have to eat the sandwich by a certain hour or a certain day because it's going to go bad. Like, I don't have to, if I don't want to take trash out, I'm a very clean person, but I'm just saying, like, look at this. This is like a raw canvas. This is a raw canvas. Like, look at it that way. Ask questions. I am going to make a few suggestions. If you are going to relocate to an area that you are to a completely different state, I don't know if your state's big. Mine's not. Like, I could probably walk it in a day and a half. If you live in a state where, you can be relocated significantly distance enough from the situation, please invest in a taser. If you don't have, they're not that expensive. You can go to a gun shop. There's no special permits. In the state of Delaware specifically, I can tell you they're legal. I can also tell you that they're legal in the state of Pennsylvania. I can also tell you that I can tell you they're legal in a few other states, Washington, Colorado, things of that nature. And invest in a hip knife, one that you are capable and able, and it's got to be something that you can work and fix fast. I also suggest getting yourself a key alarm. Don't get a cheap one. I have gotten the cheap ones, and the pins pull and they fall apart. There are better ones. So if you actually, mine came with my taser. It was $24.99. That was with taxes, and it's a nice taser. And the key thing, it's when you pull the pin, it's got a flashlight and it's got a pin and a key ring. If you pull that pin, the decibels that go out are picked up on police scanners, so you can be located. Basically, I've well, I had to use it once, but at that point I had some special. You can also get another thing. There's also there's special spray you can get. I don't know where else they sell them, but at gun shops. That is, it has a dye in it that you cannot see. So if you hit somebody with it and they take off, you can't see it and they can't see it. But when the cop lights hit it, they glow. So that's just a couple safety suggestions. And I don't know. I mean, don't go into areas you do not know without making sure that you are capable of. I'm not telling anybody to go into a place that they just completely are not able to live in because it's just not something they've. Sometimes it's not. In domestic violence situations, there's not always a lot of time to become adaptable. What I'm saying is to be open-minded. Don't come out and expect that you're going to walk out of a really bad situation to save your life, and you're going to be handed that lifestyle just without the people. It doesn't go that way. You have to do it, and you have to have it in you. It's here. You have it. Trust me, it's here, and it's here. And as long as you can keep them connected somehow, I don't care if it is by like the last piece of string, just hold on and believe. Trust me, I've let you guys see me crumble. I've let you guys see me fall. But this is the first day right now on this video that I get to begin to rebuild my entire life for the first time. My life. Not because it was built from false psych records from my family, not because it was built from lies here, not because I was made a lab rat for, big farm. I'm here. I got here through for the child abuse, the medical abuse, meaning I got 0 real medical abuse in 35 years in the state of Delaware. And now it's all showing up. Well, it's because I went to a different state. Through the medical abuse, the child abuse never stopped. It just went just smoothly right into adult abuse. Look, I can't get a speeding ticket without them. I could be 10 miles. It's happened. I was 10 miles over the limit. They took me out of my vehicle and put me in handcuffs. Sat me in the back of their truck. It was my dad's car, and he had 2 leaves in a baggie. They're going to take me in. I was like, can you please call my dad? I got out with that one. But you guys, you have to be willing. Look, and I'm going to say this too. Don't go to areas that, I don't know, whatever lifestyle that you live, that you're used to living, you have to be ready and prepared. Start seeing who you're real, who really is there for you. Because I promise you, if you carry any of the human baggage, you really are, you're kind of like starting out unsafe in a safe place. I'm not saying you have to remove everybody, but there's ways to find out who and who isn't there, and who really is true and who's really just trying. Their motives are to be your best friend and leave there and don't do that to yourself. I have a box that is going to be somewhere, and it'll be safe, and it will only have the most important things in my life in a box. And I'm selling almost everything else very soon. And, I'm only going to take with me what was, is, and was never anybody else's, just mine. And I'm going to simplify my life. I'm going to give myself a chance to figure out how to live life and, to be the good human that I know I've always been. But without all that shell, I the instant I went inside, right, there was this feeling of like free. But there is a paralyzing fear still connected to that. So let's get to that. When this all started, like, I have been in such bad paralyzed fear that my body at one point kind of got stuck in not really fetal position, but like if I was cuddling with a pillow. I actually had to they had to come and kind of get me out, or I don't remember, they give me some stuff and made me relax. And that's real. And it can actually, paralyzing fear can actually kill you. That's also real. You can look that up. Because your body, when you become paralyzed out of fear, your body starts to shut down. I could not move. To the point where I didn't use the bathroom for 4 days. I didn't get off my bed. I did not sleep. I blinked very, very, very few times in a day. And I'm being so very serious. Paralyzing fear can both be negative. And you know what? Sparkles is going to give you a little bit of positive today. Because this is a topic that's important, because I'm no different than any other survivor, victim, family member that sees it. It was kind of, my pride did get in the way at one point. So it's like my pride doesn't get in the way in so many fashions, but in my growth, I can be a little vain at times. I don't care about brands and all that, but sometimes the aesthetics, I have lived my life making sure the aesthetics look good to make everything inside be what everybody else needed it to be. And, I have a blank canvas, and, there's one thing and the irony of it all is it doesn't matter where the house is at. I am going to be able to rebuild a house while I rebuild my life. It's kind of ironic. And so all that fear, that paralyzing fear, it's difficult. I'm telling you, it's hard. And a lot of times we get to a place then it becomes even more paralyzing when you start realizing how less of people you have in your life, and how more there. And slowly, and you realize you start recalling some things. It's time to really start recalling things and decide if you want to live a lie and be unsafe, or if you really want help. And sometimes some people, all they need is a place, because they can handle their things on another level. But don't ever expect to be just handed, or it's never, unless you have money aside, which a lot of us do not. But if you do, that's great. Then you know what? You're very fortunate. And I don't know, I wish I had that, but I do not. So, and a lot of people that I've worked with do not. So don't be afraid of change. Yeah, wow. That just came out of Sparkle's mouth. Don't be afraid of change. And make sure you gotta put faith over fear. That has nothing to do with religion either, people. It's kind of just put one foot in front of the other. And if it takes 3 days to get an entire foot in front of the other one, it's okay. Take a break. If it means you get your head, things are self-care, just do whatever it is you have to do. Try and just do it as healthy as possible, but take care of self. It is not easy. And that fear, I thought that I kind of was kind of over it. I don't really know why I felt like that. And it wasn't until I found out that I had no choice but to relocate out of the state. Well, I just have to leave the state of Delaware. That's it. I'm just going to leave it at that. Things my body reacted, things I was oh, it was difficult. Like the fear set in. It was a trigger. Like, oh, like this is really getting real now. Like I don't have a choice. Like because I stayed in my car several nights. And I'll do it again if I have to. Because, well, because I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I get through this. You know, this is the all survivors of anything. You know, together, we really don't suffer alone. The problem is sometimes we have to get to a point, and it generally, for me, and I've told people that do these surveys, you have to get to a point where you realize that you may not be 100% safe. But even if you're at that 75, you're above 50% safe, then things are starting to change a little bit. And in that little bit of change, try and, start making your list of what has to be done and then what needs to be done. What is it bare minimum that you need to live? And I'm not talking tents and uh-oh. Can you guys, I guess you guys can still see me. So I guess because I'm on, so we just lost all the electricity. Sorry about that. But listen, each of these steps is gonna feel like you just climbed a freaking mountain. Okay, but I promise, and I was never a believer. I just, nothing positive really has ever much come out of my mouth. And today, I feel free. Today, I feel like there was a moment after the accident, I didn't think I was going to be able to go forward. And I'm doing that too. So trust me, if I can get through everything that I'm going through, and I do realize that some of you have had way worse experiences, some of you have had, but really we're not here to compare experiences. So let's just stand together. I'm going to need to close out this because my electricity is going darker and darker. I want to thank everybody for joining us again. Abuserregistry.com. If you are able to and you have documentation to prove, reach out to abuserregistry.com where you can legally report them. And I hope to see you guys again 2 weeks. And enjoy the weather. And I hope you got something out of tonight. Together, no one suffers alone.
What's going on, beautiful people? Kira Savvy here. Savvy Kira on Instagram and Facebook. Self-help podcaster and vlogger of Literally Just Talk Radio. So I just closed out season 1, and I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. If you've been listening, if you've been watching me thus far, you know that this has been an incredible journey. You've decided to take a moment in listening to the show and in even viewing the talk series, Talk Heavy TV, to connect to yourself, to connect to different thought processes and ideas. So as I'm closing out season 1, I'm thinking about season 2. I'm thinking about how we can gain a closer connection to one another, how we can continue to connect to thought processes and ideas that we need for us to stay connected to one another. And so, with that being said, I'm excited to announce that season 2 of Literally Just Talk Radio, Talk Heavy TV, in collaboration with Mind of the Storm Studios, will be going live this spring, every first and last Saturday. So I'm going to be introducing some new guests, having some new interviews, even talking to some people from the past. And if you've been on the show before, hit me up. Let me know that you want to come back. I really love to speak with you and put you in front of a live audience. Make sure you send me an email, savvykira@literallyjusttalk.com. Now, that's not to say that you can't view or listen to past episodes. You can find me at Savvy Kira on Instagram and Facebook to get the latest for season 2. And also view past episodes and listen to past episodes of Literally Just Talk Radio at www.ljtrtalkheavy.com. Till next time, I'll see you in season 2. Peace.